Okay, so if you're doing something else at the moment, like playing some platform games, Connections, Sudoku, etc., maybe you're geoguessing, maybe you're playing chess, maybe don't do that for the time being. Okay, what I want to show you, for the most part, can also be accessed on Tuesday's video right here. If you want to see how first and fifth period, I'm pretty sure this is fifth period's example right here. What we're trying to do, let me show you, or I'll show you in a second, is we're going to bring a button in from our library of Hero UI stuff, and we're going to configure everything that needs in order to be functional. And then I want you all to just experiment around with adding your own buttons, source coding the stuff you've already configured, and adjusting it for your needs after the fact. And then at the end of the period, I will put the code that I write in the resources so that you can copy and paste it and adjust it as necessary. But first, let me show you what we're even talking about. Okay, normal startup procedure. We want to go to the terminal and then new terminal. Usual stuff. Let me close out some of these other ones so it looks like it does normally. We want to make sure that you're in command prompt. And then we're going to type npm run dev. Okay? And then hit enter. Control click, localhost, all the usual stuff that we stay doing. But just in case you need a reminder, that is the step-by-step on how to get your server up and running. Okay? I want to show you a couple things first. I'm working on getting my version of this code hosted so you can just visit it even outside of class or when I'm not on my live server. I've been messing around in the lab here, trying a couple different things that might be helpful for your About Me pages, like making Flexbox behave a little bit better with text and images, doing some experimenting. Anytime you guys have a specific problem that I can't solve immediately, I'm going to go mess around in the lab and try to get it working before I show you. Okay? So these are my works in progress at the moment, basically. And what I want to do here is get this into a mobile sort of layout before I start doing any coding so that we design mobile first, right? You can do that by function F12 to open up your dev tools. And we want to find this little phone-looking icon right here. On Chrome, it looks like a phone with like a, let me see if I can do it from memory real quick, like a computer screen with like some keys right here. But on Firefox, it is like a phone and a little tablet sort of situation. So we're going to click that button. No matter the size of our viewport, which is another name for our browser, it's going to stay mobile phone sized, right? Makes it easy to code as if you are making web pages for your phones, which is good because more often than not, that's how people are actually going to view your site. Okay? Split my screen, normal setup stuff, and then if I grab in the middle here, you see that little bar, click and drag till it's only on this side. Now I can see everything. Okay, this is all normal startup stuff. This is stuff that I've shown you before. This is not like going to be on the test, you know, because there aren't any in this class, but I'm just walking you through my entire process in case you have forgotten any of the steps along the way. Okay, so let's actually get out of the lab real quick. One of the things I'm trying to figure out is why the mobile menu doesn't work. Okay, you can see what I encoded on some of the other pieces here. Why the mobile menu doesn't work, I don't know yet, so still working that out. Let's get rid of these for example's sake, and it's going to get mad at me because we have, oh, I might actually want to keep capital L link. I do. Okay, so let's get rid of these. Control S. Let's get rid of these. Just a little bit of configuring here. Highlight all these. Just kidding. Okay. If you hold Control and Shift, it'll allow you to select words that, like individual words. It skips instead of just like letters. It'll do the entire word up until the end of a sentence. Okay. So let's get rid of these. Control or Shift click on lines. That will also get rid of those here. Oh. Why are we mad? There we go. Okay, so this is probably about where the other video starts, and I want to walk you through the exact process of creating a button. Okay? I use a lot of analogies and metaphors in this class to try and help you guys better understand the types of things that I'm doing or the types of things that I'm trying to do. And some big ones that we're going to be focusing on today are that grocery store or that library metaphor, right? We have this big, huge project file that has a lot of stuff that we won't use Just like a grocery store has a lot of ingredients that we might not buy, but when we're writing recipes, which is a lot of what web design is, you might need specific ingredients that you don't quite have yet. Okay? So keep that in mind as I show you buttons and stuff. But first I want to show you comments. Okay? You guys see these green little sections right here around my code that has like a little brace, and that'll remove the source from this attribute of image. Okay? Now, that is going to freak out my website because I've told them that there's an image of this size right here and it's missing a source. But I can go back in here and add another source with equals question mark, okay? And then let's just grab something random out of my public folder. Let's do this picture of me, okay? So /me dot, what is it? Scroll down a little bit. /me1.jpg, not me12, me not 12, me 25. Me.jpg. Okay, Control S. Now, since I've changed the source but kept my original one, in essence just toggling it on and off, I can come back to that if I need to. Comments are super helpful, especially as you start leaving yourself notes along the way. This is that one picture of Alex, right? Okay, let me spell picture right. Since this is inside the image tag, I'll just comment it out real quick, and now I know that this source is for alex.jpg. Okay, what you might be noticing is even though src of Alex comes before src of me, me is the one who's rendering. That's because, just like with children, the oldest is going to try to render first, but whatever comes after the oldest is going to be the most visible. So since this source comes second after the first one, it's technically more important than the first one because this is the one that comes after the initial load. Okay? So be careful of that with your sources. I'm going to comment this out, for example, so that it goes back to being the correct picture. Okay? Does that make sense? It's a useful tool, and it'll be helpful when we start showing you buttons. So while I get set up really fast to configure some buttons, you can mess around with comments in your current code, see how it affects it, see how it adjusts your About Me page. Let's try to go to it from here. It's not working. Nothing's working for me today. I'm not going to lie, y'all. Okay, anyway. Function F12, mobile view. Let's go back to the About Me. Okay, we ready for buttons, or do you want to mess around with comments a little bit more? Buttons? Who else is thinking buttons? Thumbs up for buttons. Lots of thumbs up for buttons. All right, let's make a button. Okay, now remember, this is where I'm going to bring up the grocery store or the library metaphor, so keep those fresh in your heads. Okay, I'm going to go after all of my links and anchors right here. You can see I left myself a note of what this link serves as an example to a good way that you can leave comments. When you create a button, a capital B button is a Next.js element, which means just like when we write a Next.js link or a Next.js image, we have to start it with a capital letter. And before we do the capital letter, we got to add the alligator mouth. Okay. Normal HTML, you can usually just type out the tag, excuse me, and then it will automatically work. Okay. Whenever we do Next.js stuff, you do have to add that alligator mouth with a shift comma. So we want a capital B button. Okay, and then if I shift period, oh, it goofed on me, shift period, there we go. You can see that the button has that red underline, right? Where else do you guys see that red underline? Perhaps in some type of program that rhymes with Microsoft Schmerd or Schmoogle Sheets, okay? What does it mean in Microsoft Word when you see the red underline?
Something's wrong.
Something's wrong. The cool part about VS Code, the cool part about that I in integrated development environment is we hover over that, there's this quick fix button right here. Now, quick fix is not always there, but sometimes when it is, it's going to give you an error as to why it's red underlined. We cannot find button, okay? We need to go to the store for that ingredient that we don't have. The button is our ingredient. And quick fix, if we hover over that and click, or you can hold control period, it's going to ask us a couple options, all right? Hero UI is a specific thing, part of Next.js, okay? If Amazon is Next.js, then Hero UI is a product you can get from Amazon, all right? It's a specific piece of a bigger whole, all right? So we want to click this top option, similar to Google. The first one that pops up is usually the most important, or usually the most helpful. Now when I click this button, it's not going to be obvious what happens. Okay, so let me see if I can scroll. I can scroll. Okay, pay attention to the brain up here where you see these imports. All right, and watch what happens when I click this button. It's going to do a little something on line number 3 called import button from hero UI button. Okay, this is the ingredient. This is the store that we got the ingredient from. And Quick Fix is going to do that for us, which makes our button nice and happy now. Control S, and it's going to make the hero UI button load on the page. Okay? So the first 2 steps, if you're doing any type of Next.js or you're doing any type of hero UI type stuff, you got to give it the name, and then usually you got to send it to the grocery store to get that specific ingredient for your recipe. Okay? Does that make sense? Are we clear on that for the most part? This is going to bring in a default button. You can click on it all you want. It's just going to have the default little bit of styling from Hero UI. They did the styling for us. But let's make this button functional. Okay? What is this button missing in order to turn it into an element? It's a C word, usually before creator. They live on TikTok. It's a C word, 2 syllables. Content, so true. Okay, so you want your content to be related to your button link. Okay, I'm going to show you how to create a button for Canvas. So the same way that I want my comments and my file names to be easy to understand, I want my user to clearly know what this button does. Right? Does that make sense? So we've got a button that says Canvas. We've got the start and end tag. But when we click on it, it has no functionality, right? Yours are not functional either if you're coding along with me at this point. It's because, just like images, just like anchors, we need somewhere for this button to take us. Right now we've just put a blank button that does nothing. Okay? We can press it all we want. It's not connected to anything. It's like when you give your little sibling the disconnected controller and you let them play, right? It's not doing anything. So, something else you want to keep in mind is that basically the only thing that goes between the tags is going to be content, right? Everything else is an attribute that's going to go inside of the start tag, like class name, like href, like src, like width and height, all that type of stuff. It's almost always going to go inside the start tag. The only thing that exists in between, in this squiggle space, is content. So, if we want to add a href to our button, we always want to go inside of that start tag. We're going to hit with an href, not a hred, and then hit enter. Okay? It's going to give us an equals quotes. And right now it says there's an error because we don't have a source in that button. Okay? The button's still there, the content's still there, but the error is popping up. Okay? Let me grab the URL for Canvas to put it inside of that href. Right? Normal URL stuff. Click in the top search bar, copy it, paste it. Control V. Okay, Control S. Error goes away. We click the button. It's not working. Okay? Because this is a Next.js element, which are typically more helpful for the computers, you have to do a little bit of setup at the start to get them working. We need to give this button just a little bit more instructions to take us to this hyperref, or this href. Okay? And that set of instructions is going to send you back to the grocery store. Okay? You want to read this like a sentence. When you want your button to do something specific like act like a link, we want to put the phrase as. Okay? And when you hit enter on as, it's going to ask you button as what? ... question mark. In this case, you want it to be button as link, not that. Link, right? Control S to save. It's broken. It's mad. It's so furious at me right now. How did we fix the button just a second ago? Anyone want to tell me how I fixed the button? Think about Microsoft Schmert again. What should I do? My link is not working. What should I do?
Import?
Import? How do I get to the import menu? Anybody remember? Let's hover over it. Maybe there was something there. Maybe perhaps some kind of quick fix might be helpful. Okay, let's hover over quick fix and see. Oh, sweet, there is a quick fix that might make this link work, right? Remember, Hero UI is a product on the grocery store shelf. and Next is the Amazon or the QFC or the Fred Meyer or the whatever that houses that input. Next is bigger than Hero UI, and because it's first, it's probably the one that we want to do, right? You got a question?
Yeah, I was just wondering, why aren't we using the Tailwind button?
Because the Hero UI one has a little bit more customizability. Tailwind, to get it to do that little gray with the little ripple, is like 10 lines of Tailwind. So if we just bring it in as a capital B button, then we don't have to do that. So, good question. Okay, yes, Lucky.
For me, the squiggle, the arrow squiggle is underneath as rather than underneath link.
Interesting. I might have to look at that. Do you have your braces around it?
Around link, yes.
Yeah, okay. I'll have to look at that here in a second. But let's try the quick fix on link, which is giving us a little option right here. Can't find lowercase l link. Did you mean capital L link? In this case, we do not mean capital L link. We want the next link right here, lowercase. Okay? Control S. Now we've sent our website to the grocery store for this lowercase link instead of this uppercase link. Now, here's a great time for you to leave some comments inside of your import brain right up here on your website telling you which link does what. Okay? I'm going to hit enter underneath import lowercase link, and I'm going to say this is the one for buttons. Okay? And you're going to see that my computer is going to get super mad at me for writing all this code in the code section that's not code. Thankfully, we have a control slash that we can just save, and now we know when we open up later, we can see that import link from next link. Hey, psst. Let me actually add a psst in there. Psst. This is the one for buttons. Okay? So, same way that we commented that, we can say this is the grocery store example. You don't have to write that, but that's what I'm going to write. Okay? Control slash. Oh, it's mad at me. Let's get rid of this first. Control slash, Control S. Okay. Now our button's back to normal. All right? You can read this part right here as a sentence. Okay? The button as a link takes us to this link right here when the button is clicked. Okay? Does that make sense? So now, in theory, when I click on my Canvas button, it should treat it as a link and go to this hypertext reference right here. Let's see if that's true. Hooray! We went to website design. We have fully encoded a button that makes it completely working, and our web page is not mad at us. Okay? That's a basic button. It's all you need for a button to work. And now the best part is since we've coded this button, we can just copy it and paste it. Okay? Control C, enter, Control V. Now that will add a second Canvas button. There's a slash that's snuck in there somewhere. Let's get rid of that. Oh, okay. But what I can do now is just change the link. Let's say, I don't want to put my email on blast. Let's just do YouTube. Let's do something easy. Okay? Copy the YouTube link, highlight the hypertext reference, Control V that YouTube link right in there. All right? Now, these are two different two different hrefs, but one set of content. I want to make sure that this says YouTube so my user knows what that button does. All right? That's basic buttons. I'm going to go into two more ways that you can make your buttons a little bit cooler and a little bit more functional. But if this is all you need to make your button work, that's great. That's fully functional. You went to the grocery store. You gave it everything that it needs to be happy. This is a fully satisfied button. Okay? If you want your button to take you to a new page, when you click on it, or when your user clicks on it, you got to add the target attribute. Not target, excuse me. Target attribute. Okay? Which is another equals quotes one right here. All you need to do then is write underscore blank, not link. God, I can't type today. Sorry. In the quotes. All right? Control S. Now, YouTube is the only one that has target blank in it. So if I click on Canvas, it should reload my page. Right? And we're here on the web design homepage. However, let me pin this so you can see that it's a little bit smaller. Watch my tabs up here when I click on the YouTube button. All right? YouTube opens it in a new tab. Target blank just means it's going to open up in a new tab wherever my user is browsing. Okay? This works on Chrome, Edge, Brave, Opera. If you've been following the development of the new browser Ladybird, it'll work on that too, which I'm pretty excited about. Anyway, that's for another time. Right? So target blank is going to make it open in a new page. the last thing that I want to show you is even though this button is pre-configured with Hero UI, we can still add a class name. Oh, goodness, that got really mad at me. Make sure you say class capital N name. And we can style this YouTube button to look a little bit more YouTube-y. Okay, using regular Tailwind CSS. Perhaps I wanted to make a background color by just typing the letters BG and then dash, then giving it a color name, like maybe red, for example, and then picking one of my red options here, maybe like red 700 or so. Control S. Okay, that's a little too like red for me. Let's try a 500. Okay. Now what happens is the red goes away until I refresh. I think even 500 still. Let's try it. Did I just do 600? Let's see. I can't remember. I think I did. I'm happy with 600, so we're going to leave it at that. Okay. I think I want my text to be white on there, so maybe I'll just write text-white, okay, because that's the color of the text that I want to change. Okay, and then maybe I want to make the text color, or the text size a little bit larger. So I want to set the text to be, let's try double XL. Okay? Oh, it didn't like that for some reason. Let me try refreshing my page, see if that makes it double XL. What? Why? Okay, we'll just leave it. Text white is working. Let's try text dash, and let's see what CSS has for me. Okay. Oh, it's not XXL, it's 2XL. Gotcha. Okay, that's looking a little more YouTube-y. And then the last thing I think I'm going to change, just for funsies, is I'm going to say subscribe. Not subscribe. Okay? Control S. Now, whenever I click on the subscribe button, it's going to have a little bit of interactivity. It's going to take me just to the YouTube homepage. I probably should make that go to my channel. But I've given the button everything that it needs to be functional by bringing it in as a link, giving it a little bit of style to make it look how I want it to look, giving it a hypertext reference or a href, make sure that it's working, and I've told the computer to open it in a blank tag. Okay? Subscribe is for the user, and then we got an end tag right here. And now the last two things that you need to include on the button are to bring that button in from the store with the import command like this. We also want to bring in the link command like this, and then we want to just leave the rest of this stuff for later. Okay? That's buttons. And now since I've written this button to be functional, let's say I want it to go somewhere else, perchance, perhaps. Control V. Let's change up the styling and the URL a little bit. Let's do, God, I immediately forgot every website that I enjoy. Hamster Dance. Okay. Hamster Dance it is. I'm just going to Google Hamster Dance and hope that we're going to go to the Wikipedia because that's the first one that popped up. Okay, Hamster Dance. Copy that. You'll have to send me the actual site because I don't know it right now. All right, so let's change the href. Only adjust what we need to adjust. And since we went to the store for the button grocery item, okay, let me try something real quick actually. I've just had an idea. What if we throw a little hashtag in here? Does that get mad? Sweet. Okay, so if you don't know what CSS you want to use yet, hashtags are kind of a universal placeholder for Tailwind or for hrefs or for sources or for whatever. All right, let's change this to be hamster dance. Okay, Control S. And then let's make it a little bit more Wikipedia-ly just for funsies. This is me customizing it. Wikipedia is already pretty just light and dark. Let's go. I don't know. Let's make it blue. Let's make it a nice blue. Let's go into that class name. Change the hashtag to be BG blue. And then I got a bunch of blue options. Let's go a nice, like low key, kind of icy 400 blue. And when we refresh our page, now I got a hamster dance shortcut. It's really useful. Buttons are super fun, and they're good ways to do navigation. There's ways you can customize them further, but I want you guys to practice sending your computer to the store and configuring everything you need in order for it to be successful. Okay? So your job for today is to practice using buttons, because what buttons are going to do, as you can see right here, I commented out something earlier. Let me make sure that all of my use state and stuff is correct. All right? Check this out. let's get rid of, we want this on press to stay. I'm going to comment all of this other junk out for just a second. And so that I just, actually let's do the buttons too. Okay, and in commenting them out, I don't lose my progress, but I do keep the code in case I need to. Okay, so let me add a little bit of, let me stylize this a little bit real quick. One sec. We're going to go text-4XL. We're going to do justify center. Okay. Let's see if that worked. It didn't work. Just kidding. What you're going to do for project number 1, which I'm going to have you start a little bit later, is when you press this button, we're going to write a little bit of React that brings in a fun fact. We're creating fun fact generators. But before we generate fun facts, and before we use arrays and strings, which is part of your entry task today, before we press for facts, we need to have something to press, right? Human circulatory. Right now it only calls one fact. I'm working on making it random. But that's what we're doing shortly. Let me undo so that all my comments come back. Control S, Control Z, Control S. Okay. I'm going to copy this code, paste it on your agenda. I'm going to upload this video as well. You got about 40 or so minutes. Put some buttons on the screen. After you put buttons in your March project, you can use the rest of your class time for whatever you need to do. Okay? Good luck. You can have your phones from this point on as well. Before I get to questions, let me copy and paste this code and upload the video, and then I will be able to help you. What's up?
Can you help me, like, do links for my About Me page?
Yeah. Let me upload this video first, and then I can.
Yeah, no, I'll
Thanks. March 31st. Yeah.
Is there a way I could do it on my laptop? Because I kind of want to restart it.
Yeah, sure. It's a little bit of setup, but it's possible.
If I bring my laptop, would you help me set it up? If I bring my laptop, would you help me set it up?
Yeah, of course. Oh no, did that video not record? That was the best one. No.
Do we have to have a button?
Yes. I'm gonna be so mad if that video didn't record. That was the best one.
Can it be just one button?
Yeah. But you need to practice writing them because you'll use them all the time. Man, it's not looking like that video recorded. Son of a gun. Okay, that's fine. What's up?
Do we have to include like images of ourselves, or?
Not technically. I think it's an About You page, so honestly, whatever you want to put on it is fine. But, you know,
Okay.
up to you.
And then is all these like is the button like required? Or
Yes.
Can we do, okay.
You need at least one button.
One button.
Yep.
And then do we need 3 links?
Yes.
Okay. Can my 3 links be 3 buttons?
Yes.
Trying to figure out how to make a Spotify icon. I got the download icon.
Let me look.
I went to download. See, like, it says download,
Okay. Good
but I
job.
don't know how to change the icon.
We use another library called Lucide. So let's see if there's anything musical in Lucide. Let's see if they have a Spotify. No, dang it.
Spotify's copyrighted, so I'm not.
Yeah,
surprised
probably
they don't
not.
have it. I can try.
They have a couple music options.
Okay, so like,
So to bring it in, you want to copy the JSX, and then we want to see what that looks like. God, I'm so annoyed that that didn't. Okay, so you just put this inside of your button, and it will make it just where you always put here, like this, where you always put. Just kidding. Maybe it's right here. There you go. Okay, so it's gonna hover over that. Cannot find music. We want a quick fix. Lucide. It's gonna send it to the grocery store for the Lucide music. And now when I go look at the canvas icon, let me start my server back up real quick. We go to the About Me page.
Is there a way to add an image to access an icon? Because I looked at Tailwind and they have XML almost.
I don't know that yet, but if you add the Lucide name, it turns into this. So, God dang it all, cuss it all, man. That was a great video. Okay. Okay, I'm coming. Okay, you need help with links?
Links and also probably making buttons.
Okay.
Because I've been trying this entire time to figure out how to get the links working so I can do
Gotcha.
buttons.
Let me check one last time to make sure that this video didn't save. God, no it didn't. Okay. So my video didn't record, of course. So, but I did copy and paste the code that I showed you into the weekly agenda. So you can take mine and adjust it for your needs if you want to. I would recommend that you practice writing it the long way, but said